Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 favorite post-apocalyptic movies. Yes, post-apocalyptic movies. Try saying that 10 times fast. Post-apocalyptic movies. Post-apocalyptic. I can't even do it. So yeah, post-apocalyptic movies. Yes, if you're all asking me what is a post-apocalyptic movie, I think you all should know that because that's like the big thing now. There's like almost every other month a post-apocalyptic movie comes out, whether it's an indie film or a big summer blockbuster film. We live in the day and age that there's a bajillion post-apocalyptic movies, but just in case you don't know, a post-apocalyptic movie is basically about a storyline that involves the end of the world and such. Whether it's a zombie apocalypse or a nuclear holocaust happened or a nuclear explosion, basically the end of the world, people surviving the end of the world and stuff, dystopian worlds and all that shit. And yeah, when I get through the top 10 list, you all know what a post-apocalyptic movie is. So yeah, I thought I'd do a top 10 favorite of a post-apocalyptic movies because I've talked a lot about this subject and I thought it'd be a fun top 10 list to do. And also, before I get to the top 10 list, I'm judging these movies based on, yes, how good of a movie they are, obviously, but I'm also really judging these movies as post-apocalyptic films. Like, some movies on my honorable mentions may be better movies than some movies on my top 10 list, but the movies on my top 10 list, I think, are just better post-apocalyptic films. I think you all should get it. Yeah, you all understand. So yeah, let's get to it. Here's my top 10 personal favorite post-apocalyptic movies. And before our top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Zombieland, Planet of the Apes, Snowpiercer, The Matrix, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 28 Days Later, Book of Eli, Shaun of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Logan's Run. All great films, great post-apocalyptic movies. Just gonna make the top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is this year's It Comes at Night. It Comes at Night was a really spooky, haunting, atmospheric, post-apocalyptic horror film. And I know a lot of people hate this movie. I know a lot of people fucking hate this movie. They all disagreed with the critics. They all said it was like The Witch. It was a very pretentious horror film that nothing happened. By the end of the film, they're like, what the fuck was that? Nothing even happened in this movie. There's no monster in the film. Nothing even comes at night. Yes, I think that's mostly not because of the movie. I think that was mostly because of the marketing for the film. The marketing for the movie It Comes at Night was marketed as this monster spooky horror film where you get to see all mutated people and stuff. Little did they know, spoilers, that all the mutated people mostly come from the son's dream. The story of this movie takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where this husband and wife, the husband's played by Joel Edgerton, and their son, basically, they live in this cabin in the middle of the woods and stuff, and basically everyone in the world has been dying from this sickness where they vomit blood and stuff. So basically they barricaded themselves in their little shack in these woods and stuff, but then they find this family, this husband and his wife and his little son, and basically they take them in and they all have to live together in this cabin. However, shit gets a little crazy. People, from the trailers, it seems like it's this horror film. There's a monster out in the darkness, haunting them. Actually, that's not it at all. It's not that at all. The title means so much more than just, a monster at night. It means, bad dreams at night. It means all the bad and disturbing things come at night. It doesn't mean there's a monster. There actually is no monster in the film at all, really. Nothing at all. I think the human beings themselves are almost monsters because they have to fight for their, safety, and they have to fight for their lives and stuff, and when someone gets sick, they basically have to kill them and stuff. They can't be near them and stuff. Pretty much the monsters in the movie are the humans themselves. And yeah, that's what I kind of took from this film. A lot of people hated this movie because it wasn't a straight horror film. It was more a character study. It was more of a dramatic psychological thriller. I still found it very creepy and unsettling. Some of the dream sequences were really unsettling. The ending to this movie, which I will not spoil, is very dark, very unsettling, and absolutely upsetting, and very it's very unnerving and stuff. Especially, and actually I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to spoil it again. It's definitely a movie a lot of people didn't like because a lot of people thought just nothing happened, but actually a lot of things did happen. It was a very compelling, very dramatic film with very intriguing characters, and I thought the performances by everyone was great, particularly Joel Edgerton. And what Trey Edward Schultz did with this film, how he wrote and directed the film, was really well done. The cinematography was fantastic. It had some very unsettling imagery in the film, and I thought it was really good. I thought the score was also really well done. It was a very subtle film, a very atmospheric film. And the reason I also like it as a post-apocalyptic movie is because it felt so real. It felt like it's one of the most realistic and most intense post-apocalyptic movies I've seen. Like, when I was watching It Comes at Night, I feel like this actually could happen. Like, this is how people would react if the world came to an end and everyone had this, like, deadly virus and stuff. And it was just really brutal and very real, and that's why I really enjoyed it, and I think it is one of the best post-apocalyptic movies. God, it's getting harder and harder to say that, but it is one of the best post-apocalyptic movies I've seen, and yeah, it had to make this top 10 list because it's that good. Coming number 9 is a tie between two great post-apocalyptic movies. I just couldn't choose a favorite, even though they're kind of different. Well, they're very different films, but I like them both the same. And that is The Road and I Am Legend. The Road and I Am Legend are two very different films, even though they're basically both about the end of the world, but they're done in very different ways, and they're directed in very different ways. I'll start with The Road. The Road is basically about this father and son, and basically them walking across the road, trying to get south and stuff, and they're living in a post-apocalyptic world. The world has come to an end. You don't really quite know how the world ended and stuff. They give you little hints and stuff, but that's what makes it all the more disturbing and scary, because you don't fully know the full story of how the world came to an end. And it's basically about this dad, played by Viggo Mortensen, and his son, played by Cody Smith-McPhee, and basically they're just traveling, you know, trying to find food and supplies, and basically just trying to survive. It is just a straight survival story, and they run into, like, really disgusting cannibal people and stuff, and yeah, I won't spoil the ending, but yeah, it also flashes back to Viggo Mortensen with his wife, Charlize Theron, before the post-apocalyptic age. God, I'm struggling more and more to say that fucking word, but anyways, it flashes back with him and Charlize Theron and before all this bad shit happened and stuff, and how she got pregnant with their son, and how she even lived in this age and stuff, and she basically, I won't spoil it, but yeah, her life basically ended because of the dark age they were in and stuff, and yeah, a lot of the movie is mostly Viggo Mortensen and his son, him teaching his son how to, you know, survive, how to hunt, how to get food, how to get water and stuff, and yeah, and also to trust the fire within yourself, and it was really cool. There's some really powerful performances in this movie, especially by Viggo Mortensen. I thought he was fantastic in this movie. John Hillcoat's direction was also really good. It was a very well executed film, and again, it was a very dark and gritty film, and yeah, I absolutely love The Road. I also love I Am Legend, though. Like, again, I think The Road is a better, compelling, dramatic story with better performances, because I Am Legend basically just has Will Smith, but I Am Legend's more of an entertaining film, and I Am Legend has more thought-provoking stuff, thought-provoking themes in I Am Legend. And yeah, I loved Will Smith in this movie. I think this is probably the second best performance Will Smith has ever given in a film, him in I Am Legend. I think he's amazing. He is just so good in the film. I think his best performance actually is Concussion, just performance-wise, not movie-wise. I Am Legend is just a great film about this man in New York City, and he's all alone. Basically, the whole world was basically destroyed by this big virus and stuff, and basically it's just him and his dog, and all these, like, mutant zombies. They're almost like zombies. I call them mutants and stuff. They all come at night and stuff, and yeah, they basically just, like, eat and stuff, and they're just looking for food and ravaging the whole freaking world and stuff, and basically he barricades himself in his house all through the night, and during the day he basically just tries the radio broadcast and trying to find any other survivors and stuff, and it's basically just him and his dog wandering around New York City looking for supplies, looking for other survivors and stuff, and him also looking for a cure for this mutation and stuff, and it's a really well-told story, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a really intense, very creepy film. Will Smith is amazing. Yes, I don't like the ending. I do not like the ending to the film. The alternate ending is the best ending. I love the alternate ending because it shows you just the vice versa of who the real bad people are. Like, the mutants themselves are the good people, and us humans are the bad people. And basically the world is just trying to start over with a new breed of generation of a species, which is the mutants and stuff, and we're the monsters, and that's fucking brilliant. I'm surprised they never went with that original ending. Yeah, I know some people like the ending when Will Smith, blows the grenade up and fucking kills himself and sacrifices himself so the girl and her son can take the cure and go to the army base. I don't care for that ending. I love the alternate ending because it's just so deep and so philosophical, so thought-provoking, and yeah, I love it. These two movies are just very different kind of films. If you want to watch a more atmospheric and dark and just straight dramatic character study, I watch The Road. But if you want to watch a more creepy action, more smart film, I think I Am Legend is the kind of film. So yeah, I don't know which one I like more, but I think they're both great movies and they're both brilliant post-apocalyptic films. Coming number 8 is The Terminator. Yes, The Terminator, I'll be back. Fuck you, asshole. Yeah, the Terminator movies are sort of post-apocalyptic movies, even though they take place during the present time when the movies were made. Like, this takes place in 1984. And yeah, the movie just flashes forward to the post-apocalyptic age when the machines rise and basically took over Earth and stuff. And Kyle Reese is part of the resistance and stuff, and he's just, trying to fight back against the machines and stuff. That's what makes it more of a post-apocalyptic movie, but the movie itself is more of a straight science fiction film about Kyle Reese taking Sarah Connor, trying to protect her from the T-101 played amazingly by Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie's amazing. James Cameron's writing direction was fantastic. I think it's a great sci-fi film. It's probably one of the best movies on this top 10 list, but as a post-apocalyptic movie, it's just a great post-apocalyptic movie. It's more of a better sci-fi movie, more of a better action movie, more of a better thriller, but it's still a great post-apocalyptic movie with great performances, great direction, and it's The Terminator. Everyone does know that I like the first one more than the second one, so yeah, I've already discussed that, so yeah, Terminator, amazing. Coming number 7 is The Night of the Living Dead. Yes, The Night of the Living Dead. I wanted to go with the zombie movie because zombie movies are also post-apocalyptic films because, again, it's about the end of the world due to zombies. And I could have went with Dawn of the Dead or the other Dawn of the Dead, both the George A. Romero and the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead, or Shaun of the Dead, or whatever the fuck I could go on with, but I wanted to go with The Night of the Living Dead because Night of the Living Dead is my favorite zombie movie, and I love my campy and cheesy zombie films, and yeah, I love The Night of the Living Dead. I love the simplicity, I love the black and white shots, I love George A. Romero's direction. I love that it's just these simple folks, these just simple people, suburbanites, just occasional, just random workers, just random people surviving a zombie apocalypse, and they just go into this house and basically barricade themselves while the whole world is turning into zombies and they have to fight against these zombies together. It's a fantastic film. It's a great survival film. It's one of the first horror films to have an African American as the lead character. It's very spooky. It's very dated and cheesy, but I absolutely love it. I love how this movie's crafted and directed. It's a bit over the top, but I absolutely loved it. It's my favorite zombie movie, and of course, it had to be one of my favorite post-apocalyptic films, so. Coming number 6 is another movie I've talked to death about, but again, I love it, and that's Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys. Absolutely solid film. This has got Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, and Sharon Stone. Again, directed by Terry Gilliam, one of the best Terry Gilliam movies out there. It's no Monty Python out of the Monty Python movies. It's no Brazil, but still a great film. Again, movie based in a post-apocalyptic age. The human race is almost destroyed. And they basically send Bruce Willis back in time to stop it all. It's like almost sort of like a Terminator story to stop it all, stop all the bad shit that's happened. He has to basically go back in time and stop from all this bad stuff from happening so the world doesn't come to an end and the human species isn't all doomed and stuff. And yeah, it's like he goes through like a mental hospital where he meets Brad Pitt, who is the cause of it all and stuff. And yeah, it's really good. It's a very, very cerebral, very surreal film, very twisted and dark film, and I absolutely love it. Terry Gilliam's direction is fantastic. Bruce Willis is great. Sharon Stone is great. Brad Pitt got his first Oscar nomination in this film. He's fantastic. It's a very awesome film, and I absolutely love the whole premise and the idea of this movie, and yeah, amazing. Coming number 5 is Escape from New York. Yes, John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell. Anytime Kurt Russell did a great action movie in the 1980s, I fucking loved it. John Carpenter directed this movie. He also did the great score for this film. Basically, the story is about Snake Plissken, who was, you know, a soldier and stuff, and now he's a criminal, and basically these officers basically need Snake Plissken's help to go into New York City and get the president or senator or something, get a political figure out of New York City within like 12 hours, 24 hours and stuff. Yeah, because they put like bombs in his neck, and if he doesn't go and rescue the president within that time, he will blow up and stuff. And yeah, this all takes place again within a very dystopian, post-apocalyptic age. Basically, almost anarchy has happened. There's like almost no government. The human race has just gone to shit and stuff. And yeah, I love this movie. I love it. There's some clunkiness to it, but I still love it. I still love the action scenes. I love John Carpenter's direction. I love Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken. He's so freaking awesome, so badass in this movie. I love Lee Van Cleef in this film. This is such a great film. Very intense film, very dark film. I fucking love it. Coming number 4 is WALL-E. Yes, WALL-E, yes. A Disney Pixar movie. An animated Disney Pixar film on a top 10 post-apocalyptic movies. It's the third time I've done it. Tongue-tied. Okay, yeah, where was I? Yeah, WALL-E. WALL-E's a great film. I still think the first about 40 minutes of the film is perfect. If that was the entire film for the whole 95-minute runtime, this would be like one of my favorite Pixar films ever. It's so good because the beginning of this movie is just basically about this robot who like collects garbage, and the whole world is at an end. Like there's no one left on Earth and stuff, and it's just WALL-E by himself, and the whole world is filled with garbage because I guess the world ended due to pollution and stuff. And yeah, it's just WALL-E by himself, collecting garbage, you know, watching old videotapes and stuff, and that's basically it. And then another robot comes, Eve, and basically it's like this very romantic thing. They almost have like an Adam and Eve situation on Earth, and there's no dialogue. There is no dialogue in the first like 45 minutes of the film, and it creates so much atmosphere and so much tone. It has a great score and great soundtrack. It's very moving and touching without the dialogue, and it's so great. I absolutely love the first 45 minutes. When WALL-E goes to space and he meets all the humans, the fat humans on the floaties and stuff, it's fine. There's some funny scenes and stuff. There's some really intense action and adventure. There's a lot of good adventure, sci-fi adventure and stuff, and it's all fine and good, but that first 45 minutes is like the best. It is just 10 out of 10 perfect. And the movie does, you know, it becomes more of a kid-friendly film when he goes up into space and stuff. The first, like, 45 minutes felt like a more, like, very deep, very thought-provoking sci-fi post-apocalyptic film. And, yeah, I absolutely love the first 45 minutes of WALL-E. But the movie as a whole is still a really well-constructed film, beautifully animated film, very moving, very touching film. I love the characters, I love the story, I love how the film is written, and it's a damn good Pixar film. It's a Pixar film that everyone should watch. I know a lot of people are not a big fan of WALL-E, but I absolutely love it. Coming number 3 is War for the Planet of the Apes. Yes, War for the Planet of the Apes is a movie that just came out this year, and I freaking love it. This is my favorite Planet of the Apes movie. Out of the whole franchise, which is a big franchise that has been out for like 40 years, this is the best. This is the best. I think 50 years. I said 40 years. 50 years. It's been out for like 50 years. Anyways, I digress. This is such a great film. War for the Planet of the Apes is amazing. Amazing! What Matt Reeves did with this movie, how he directed this film, was absolutely stunning. He did a fantastic job. The way it was written, and the effects, the CGI looks so good. They don't even look like fake apes. They don't look like computer-generated apes. They look like real apes on horses with machine guns, and it's fucking fantastic. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the voice acting. Everyone is so great, especially Andy Serkis. Give this guy an Oscar nomination. He's just so good. This Planet of the Apes movie feels more very post-apocalyptic than Rise and even Dawn. This is basically the human race is almost at a minimum. There's barely none of them left. There's the soldiers who's just trying to kill all the other humans, and the other humans are humans slowly getting stupid. The virus is affecting their brain cells, and they're basically almost acting like animals. The animals are getting smarter, and the humans are getting dumber and stuff, and the human race is going less and less, and the ape population is growing and growing and growing, and they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And yeah, I love it. I love the action in this movie is really good. Even though it's called War for the Planet of the Apes, it's not a straight war action film. It's a very compelling, dramatic thriller. There is some really heavy stuff in this movie, and it is absolutely soul-crushing. This is a sad film. It is so... I was bawling almost in so many scenes. I won't spoil it because I know everyone hasn't seen it yet, but it's amazing. Woody Harrelson's great in this movie as the villain, this soldier, who I can see through his point of view why he's so cruel and so mean and stuff. He is literally trying to save his race and stuff, and he's willing to do whatever it takes. And yeah, Andy Serkis, again, is amazing in this film. I love Steve Zahn in this movie as Bad Ape. There is actually some comical moments in this very dark film, and yeah, it's amazing. This is one of my favorite movies of the entire year, and it's hands down the best Planet of the Apes movie I've seen, and one of the best post-apocalyptic films I've ever seen. It is just so good, so compelling, so moving, so deep, so good. Coming number 2 is Children of Men. Yes, Children of Men is a story that takes place in like 2029? Is it 29 or 27, 24? Whatever, the 2020s. Hopefully this doesn't happen in real life, because if it does, that's scary. Looking at you, Children of Men. Terrifying. Anyways, this movie is written and directed by Alfonso Cuarón. Alfonso Cuarón, fantastic filmmaker. I still like Gravity more. I don't know why, even though this is a more deep and thought-provoking story. I don't know, I like Gravity or something for some stupid reason. And Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, that's a good one too. But anyways, this is a great movie. This is a phenomenal post-apocalyptic film. This is basically, it takes place, anarchy is afoot and stuff. Like, everyone has gone against the government, and basically they're taking the law into their own hands. The human species is just slowly dying out, and no one has had a baby in like 15 years, and again, the human race is just dwindling and dwindling. And basically, Clive Owen in this movie basically finds this girl, and she is pregnant. This is going to be the first baby that's born in so long, and they can finally repopulate the human race, and society can get back on track. So basically, Clive Owen and Julianne Moore, Michael Caine, basically have to get this girl to safety, get her to a safe zone and stuff, and it's a very intense, very clever, very smart, dramatic thriller with some hints of action and stuff, and very good film. Clive Owen is amazing, Julianne Moore, Michael Caine, Chiwetel Ejiofor, amazing. The way this movie is directed was fantastic. The cinematography is fantastic. The tracking shots are unbelievable. That car chase scene when they're in the car and when all the people like raid the car, amazing. One of the best tracking shots ever. It's so good. This entire movie, again, it's spooky because this is how society could actually end up in the future, and it is absolutely terrifying. And yeah, if you haven't seen this movie yet, please check it out. It is so good. And my number 1 favorite post-apocalyptic movie is the entire Mad Max movies. Yes, the Mad Max franchise, Mad Max, The Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome, and of course Fury Road. What a lovely day. Oh, what a lovely day. The reason this is my favorite is because anytime someone says post-apocalyptic movie, the very first thing that comes in my head is Mad Max. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. When people say post-apocalyptic film, I think of Mad Max. That is the very first thing that pops into my head is Mad Max. Whether it's Mad Max, Road Warrior, or Fury Road and stuff, and yeah, even the very mediocre Beyond Thunderdome. Yes, this franchise is just so great. It has 3 amazing films and 1 decent one, and yeah, this just screams post-apocalyptic. It's a desert, it's a wasteland, people are in cars fighting for survival, fighting for food and water, and you got the frickin' Mad Max himself fighting to get to place to place to place. He's got his badass jacket, his badass shotgun, and he's there, he's out for revenge in the first one. In Road Warrior, he's basically just trying to get supplies and stuff, and he runs into Lord Humongous and stuff, and one of the best truck car chasing scenes ever. Beyond Thunderdome, he just has to deal with Tina Turner, which is always a challenge. And then, of course, the Fury Road, and Moto Joe controls the water supply, and basically Furiosa takes the truck, and basically they're all after Furiosa. She goes one way, comes the other. She basically drives one way and then drives back. That's the whole story. But the reason I love Fury Road so much is because it is one of the rare films that uses its action sequences to tell a story. You know everything about the story and the characters through its action, and that's just brilliant filmmaking. What George Miller did with all these films was amazing. It's just unbelievable what he did, especially with Mad Max Fury Road. The cinematography, the action scenes, the editing, the costumes, the production, and even the performances are just so good. Mel Gibson makes the Mad Max films, but Fury Road was just that was George Miller. That movie was amazing because of George Miller. Like, yes, it's because of George Miller with the other Mad Max films, but what makes those movies so great is Mel Gibson, because he's just so great as Max. But in Fury Road, that is all George Miller. The way he constructed and directed that film was unbelievable. And Tom Hardy was great. He grunts and moans a lot throughout the whole film, but he's awesome. He's badass. Charlize Theron as Furiosa is so great. I love that they got the actor from the first Mad Max to play Moto Joe, which was so cool. And yeah, the franchise as a whole is just such a great franchise. And again, it is the very first thing that comes to mind when I think post-apocalyptic movies. And yeah, that's why it is my favorite post-apocalyptic films. Yeah, that was my top 10 personal favorite post-apocalyptic movies. So in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your top 10 favorite post-apocalyptic films of all time? Comment below, let me know. And as always for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.